Greetings once again. James Hackley, author of the best-selling book, Body, Mind, and Spirit, The Awakening, and welcome to day 15 in your journey. Day 15 is titled Spirit versus Soul, and this is the chapter, this is the whole segment that's very, very important. Chapter 1 or section number 1, we talked about the body, the first 10 chapters, how to strengthen the body, how to improve the body, how to keep the body strong, way until our senior years. Chapters 11 through 14, we talked about the mind, how to quiet the mind, how to calm the mind, how to strengthen the mind. But chapters 15 through 20, we talk about the spirit. Because at the end of the day, we are truly defined not by the physical, we are truly defined by our spirit. And as a matter of fact, I have a visual aid here that when I show this during the seminars, folks finally get the difference. And if we look over here where my finger is, you'll see a dot, and beside the dot, there's a line. That dot represents our earthly existence. God willing, we'll have about 70 to 80 years on this earth. That's our earthly existence. However, the line, it starts in one place. It's a vector, has magnitude and direction. It starts in one place and goes for eternity. That's our spirit. Our spirit will last forever. How unfortunately, our mindset has always been on the temporal. We're doing everything for the dot. We're living for the dot instead of living for the line. So the purpose of this guide is to help improve the choices we make as people. And hopefully, once we begin to take into consideration our actions, we'll make better choices, and choices that'll last, and choices that'll last and save our spirits for eternity. So soul versus spirit. What's the difference? Some people say they use them interchangeably and they say they're synonymous, but in the scriptures, they're not. The Greek word for soul is psuche. That's basically the life. And also you'll see a soul, psuche, we get psychology out of that, which means the mind. So within the mind, we are familiar with thoughts, desires, emotions, and will. And also the soul. The soul exists within the mind, psuche. However, another Greek word, pneuma, which we get breath, and also you may sound familiar, that's where we get pneumatics from air. Breath basically is the Greek word, pneuma is the Greek word for spirit. So if you're reading scriptures and looking at the Greek, because it went from Hebrew, Greek to Latin to English. So a lot of times if you're looking at Greek interpretations, you'll see two distinct words for pneuma and psuche, and that's the difference between soul versus spirit. So you may say, hey, Brother Hackley, yeah, soul versus spirit, yeah, there is a difference. They have different Greek words, but what does it really matter? And I always use this example that if you've ever seen the movie Usual Suspects with Kaiser Soze, he utters one of the best lines that Hollywood has ever written. In that movie, Kaiser Soze says, hey, one of the best tricks that the devil ever played was convincing the world that he doesn't exist. I submit that the second greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world that soul and spirit are one and the same. Now, why is this so important for Satan to do? Because when we confess Christ as our Savior, our spirit, we're saved forever. Our spirit is guaranteed a place in eternity. All the scriptures say that. You can't get to salvation by works. You confess Christ and you believe it in your hearts. Your spirit is saved for salvation. However, once your spirit is saved, it doesn't automatically, your mind doesn't automatically forget all the things that we've been doing up to that salvation point. That's why if you've ever wondered, like, hey, how can this person be saved and yet continue to do these things, continue to drink, continue to engage in adultery, continue to do all of these other things that are abominations? And the reason being is that the soul needs to be now renewed because of that salvation. So it's the soul that we continue to have to work on once our spirit has salvation. Now, the trick, what Satan wants us to believe is that, hey, once you're saved, your soul is saved as well. So you can continue to engage in alcohol. You can continue to do all these things. You don't have to work because you're good to go. But throughout the scriptures, Christ tells us that when he comes back and when we're judged by fire, our works will be judged by fire. So we'll get in heaven. Once you confess Christ, you will indeed get to heaven through your spirit's salvation. However, once you get to heaven, will you be sitting at the kids' table or will you be sitting at the grown folks' table? That your works will determine which table you get to sit at and your rewards in heaven. So it's a very important thing. In day 15, we break that down. So once again, I encourage you to visit us at www.jameshackley.com. And as always, I'm very interested in your journey. So please send me an email to info@jameshackley.com. God bless.